Hi, I'm Chuckie Thomas, and I'm a screenwriter, an author, a producer, and a Goonie, and I am the ADHD screenwriter. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to beat the second act slog. Hey there, and welcome back to the show. Again, my name is Chuckie Thomas, and I am the ADHD screenwriter. Before we get started, I have to tell you, I really appreciate you watching these videos. All the likes and comments I've been getting has been great. Please make sure to subscribe down there because we're going to have lots more great stuff to help you with your writing. Now, what do I mean by second act slog? If you've written a script, you probably know. At some point, that initial excitement just kind of wears off and you realize, uh-oh, this is work. And that's usually during the second act because the first act is very exciting. All this stuff is being introduced. Then the second act comes and you have to start resolving things and then kind of switching things up. And it's tough. And it can kind of make or break a lot of writers. So I'm going to help you. I've been through it myself. Here are some great tips. Let's go. So when I get about to, say, the midpoint of a script, that's when I start to form maybe a better idea of what the script really is. You know, up until this point, it's kind of hypothetical. When you start writing, the characters start moving around, this hypothetical outline you have for the story becomes an actual story with real characters and dialogue and situations and tension and all the stuff that's not really going to show up in the outline. My suggestion, if you get to this point and you're just like, man, it's just not cooking. I don't know how to get through to this next part. Maybe step back and redo your outline. Or maybe you didn't do an outline and you were just charging through. That's fine. You got to this point. Your love of the game just wore out and it turned into work. That's fine. Take a step back and do an outline from where you are. And that way you can see where you're going to at the end. Using all this new information you have of these characters and everything, the ending is going to be much stronger if you just take a second, step back, and look at the complete picture again and redo your outline. So I've written 30 plus feature films, a ton of shorts, pilots, and other stuff. Whenever I sit down to write anything for the first time, books, whatever, I get the thought in my head, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. I've never written anything in my life. How many words is this stupid thing supposed to be? What is the script? I've never seen a movie before. I know a lot of this comes from my severe mental illness, but we all get this kind of stuff in our head, right? Does any of this help our writing? No, it doesn't. You need to recognize when that kind of stuff is popping up. For example, maybe you're writing your first script and you think, oh my gosh, a script is 100 pages. My professor said a script is 100 pages. I need to sit down and write 100 pages. It's your first script. It's not going to get made. It's going to be terrible. Mine was. Everybody else's was, except one person's. I read their script in a grad school and it was perfect and it drove me crazy. But otherwise, we're all going to write garbage the first time. And that's the way it works. You go back, you edit it. But you get to the finish line. Always get to the finish line, whatever it takes to get to the finish line. So you have a complete thing to look at, go back and edit when it's time. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've gone back after I've written a script or a novel or something and gone back in my notebooks full of notes and go, oh, all right, I forgot about this and also this. There's just so many things that I've written about this script or whatever it is at this point that it's filled tons of pages and there's no way I can remember any of it because I have ADHD. I remember most of it and most of it is swimming around in my head as I'm writing the script. But undoubtedly, there's things in my notes that I have forgotten that I'll go back and either will work or actually won't work anymore. So tip number 3 here, I think, would be just go look at your notes. Just go back through, maybe you've got notebooks like me, or you use more organized things like Microsoft Word or Google Drive or something. Wherever they are, go look through all of them. And I mean all of them. I know you've got that thing in your back of your head where you're going, no, I know what the outline is. I remember the outline. It's on this page over here. I bet if you go and actually read the thing, there's going to be a few, maybe just a few kernels of something that you go, oh, I completely forgot. And that actually makes the script way better. How did I forget that? You forgot because you can't remember everything, and that's fine. Just go read your notes, and I bet you find something. Earlier, I talked about outlining, which I highly recommend. The way I like to visualize this is like signposts, right? So you have your inciting incident, usually around page 13, whatever, something like that. That really kicks the story off. And you've seen movies like this, I'm sure, where if it's a little past that, it's like page 20 or something, or on the screen, minute 20, you just think, why is this thing taking so long to, maybe you didn't think this, but inside, you're like, why is this taking so long to get going? It was because that signpost was too far back. And now this might be happening in your script. You might get to maybe the midpoint or something, or even earlier that, think, man, did you know not enough's happening? This just doesn't feel like there's a lot of motivation for the characters. The story's not interesting enough. And what might be happening is that you might need to move some of those signposts earlier. I can testify to this, reading all the scripts for the Atlanta Film Festival. There's been so many that I've seen. I mean, see, some people have had even like midpoints where I was like, that's obviously what the script is about. This needs to be at the beginning. What is happening? Why did this take 50 pages, And that comes from, honestly, again, comes from outlining. So look at your signposts and see where those things are, and maybe move them up if it's not exciting enough. If you're not feeling it, your audience isn't feeling it. So I'll talk a little bit about midpoints in this video, and I'm going to clarify a little bit. If you're not exactly sure what it is, midpoints, well, the middle of the script, sure, but it tends to change things enough that it pushes the story to the end, right? Think of the most jarring example of Psycho, where, oops, the main character we thought was the main character, oh, she's dead. She just got, spoiler alert for Psycho, by the way. Or Michael Corleone and The Godfather, where he makes the decision to go in, and he goes in and shoots those captains. He's like, I'm in for a life of crime. Here we go, buddy. Towards the end of the movie. It's just, it doesn't change the movie like into another movie. Except for From Dusk Till Dawn does change it, actually. That's when the vampires appear and the crime thriller is gone. So sometimes it does change the movie completely, and that's okay for that movie. Other times it's more of a gentle thing. What my point here is, a lot of midpoints are not strong enough. I've noticed it in scripts. I've noticed it in produced movies, especially reading for the film festivals and stuff. You got to have a really strong point that boosts everything to the end. Maybe it shakes the main character up and their plans have to change and they have to adapt, or they get what they want, but it's not what they really need. And now we go to the end of the movie, right? So check your midpoint. If it's not working, those instincts are there. Trust it, and I bet your script will be stronger. So that's it. Those are 5 tips to help you beat that dreaded slog. Do you have your own tips to maybe beat second act slog, or another part of the script is driving you crazy and you want to talk about it in the comments below? Please do. Maybe we can all help you. Please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Love to have you back for more videos. And as always, are you using this video to disassociate and not write? How about you put it away, hit pause, come back after you write, and I'll see you next time.